Hi guys, welcome back to my channel for the first time ever. Welcome back. So today, you can tell by the title of this video, we are going over all things resources. So I will be talking about all of the resources that I feel like have been super helpful for me as I have gone about starting my online boutique. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer, just because I am starting an online boutique doesn't mean that these resources can't be super helpful for someone starting up a different business. A lot of these resources would be really good for any online business, any in-person business, even if it's just a little side hustle like an Etsy shop or anything like that. Some of these resources I feel like are going to be super beneficial for even those things. So these can really be utilized across a variety of different types of businesses. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into the video. I'm gonna start sort of chronologically how I've gone through making my business so far, and then kind of talk about the resources in that order. For the first part of this video, it's probably gonna be a little bit more specific to an online boutique or just a boutique clothing store in general. But then towards the second half of the video, it will be much broader and things that can be utilized across a variety of different business settings. So the very first thing you do when you're thinking about starting an online business or an online boutique is you got to think of your name. And for me, I started by writing down in a notebook kind of all the different ideas that I had. Some of them are so cringy and so bad. But when I finally landed on Simple Staples Boutique, the very first thing I wanted to do was get the domain name. And at the time, I didn't fully know if I was gonna do the boutique yet, if I was going to continue with athletic training. I was kind of still just playing around with the idea of everything, but I knew I wanted to get the domain name. That way, no one else could snatch it before I made my decision and had a chance to do it. And when I started looking into it, it was only like $20 for an entire year of having it. So to me, I was like, okay, I can fully justify $20 to get the domain name so that whatever I decide to do and whatever happens, I know that I have it and I don't even have to worry about it. I used GoDaddy.com. Again, I only purchased it for a year, so it was only like $20 for me. And once I decided to officially continue with an online boutique, I actually went back to GoDaddy.com and I was able to create a Microsoft Office 365 specific email that was also attached to my account for pretty cheap as well, I want to say. So really, as a whole investment, I was able to get my domain name, and I fully got the www.com, which was super important to me. I wanted to make sure I had a .com and nothing else. And I was able to get an email address attached with that name as well. So for me, buying the domain name was literally the very first step that I took, taking this idea of an online boutique that was in my head to making it something that was much more real and something I could, in a sense, touch, if that makes sense. So again, GoDaddy.com, really recommend using them to find your domain, to purchase your domain name for your business. The other thing that is super specific to boutiques and online boutiques is that you do need an EIN number, and you also need a reseller's license. Now, I don't have specific recommendations for these, or I'm not going to give them because it varies state to state. So what I had to do is I literally Googled both of those for Illinois, where I'm currently at, and then was able to purchase those. And those are a pretty quick turnaround. I think it was about a week to get both of those. Then you were able to start shopping online and going to conventions and start getting product and inventory for your boutique. So once I had the name and I had my EIN and I had my reseller's license, I started playing around with the idea of what I wanted my logo to be. And actually on GoDaddy.com, it recommended me to a site called brandcrowd.com, and you can make different logos on that website. So I started on BrandCrowd. I would say for people who aren't super familiar with marketing and aren't super tech savvy yet, BrandCrowd is pretty easy to use and you might really enjoy using that, and I do enjoy a lot of the templates that they have. Once I started getting into things a little bit further, everyone kept recommending Canva to me, and I will say my final logo definitely came from a template that I used on Canva. I think they have have much more modern and much more elegant and sleeker looking templates, as well as fonts. And I just felt like I could utilize their features that they have on their website a lot more. I did go ahead and purchase the Pro version. There are templates you can use without the Pro version. So by all means, if you don't want to front that money yet, I don't think you have to by any means. I think you can use the free version as long as possible. But if you're planning on using social media a lot for your business, I do recommend getting the Pro version just because they have a lot of really nice features on there, and really the cost up front for it is well worth your money in the long run. Now that I had my logo, I had my EIN, and I had my reseller's license, now I was really ready to start looking into purchasing inventory. And if you have a boutique or you're looking to start a boutique, you might have already heard of this website called Fashion Go. It's kind of, I would almost compare it to like the Amazon for boutique wholesale vendors. So they have a ton of vendors on their website. To create an account, it's free. However, you do need to have that EIN number and the reseller's permit license ahead of time before you can create the account, but the account itself is totally free. From there, you can literally browse anything you could ever want and pretty much find any style you could ever want for your inventory. They also have a feature now where you can have consolidated shipping, which can cut down on the shipping cost of each item, which can be super helpful and save a bunch of money in the long run. And yeah, they just make it really easy for you to find new vendors, find different styles you might like. And I think it's nice that everything is kind of streamlined all into one website, so you have a ton of variety for anything you might need. So if you're looking to start a business where you're going to be utilizing wholesale clothing, strongly recommend looking at Fashion Go, especially if you're not able to go to any in-person vendor events yet. Fashion Go is definitely something I would strongly encourage you to look into. So now we're going to kind of go into resources that I've used that I don't feel like are super specific only to boutiques. And the first category we're going to talk about is books. There are tons and tons and tons of books out there. These two I feel like are really, really good starter books if you're trying to start any kind of business, whether it's online, in person, even if it's just a small side hustle. I do feel like these two books are super, super helpful. Starting with the first one, this is called Launched. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It literally kind of walks you through step by step how you should try to approach launching a new product, a new collection, or a new business. And this is the most updated version of it. So it's super current, it's super useful. There's even a social media specific section towards the end of the book that kind of walks you through a little bit more details about social media and how to use it in this launch process. So again, felt like this was super beneficial in giving me lots of content and lots of information that helped me a lot on how I wanted to build an audience and build momentum prior to even launching a business in order to make it as successful as possible. For any new business, I strongly encourage reading Launched. I think you will not be disappointed one bit. The second book that I purchased is called Profit First. I don't have any background in business, so I don't really know the back end side to anything, including finances, which is a very daunting topic for me because I just don't have any experience at all. I actually heard about this book from a podcast that I'll talk about in a minute and thought it sounded really interesting. I mean, it's literally called Profit First, and the whole goal of a business is to make a profit. So it sounded interesting, it caught my attention, and so I wanted to purchase it, and I have not been disappointed at all. Something that I like about this book is you can go to their website and they have specific accounting profit first professionals that you can pick from to help be your accountants who are already trained in this method, so that's one less thing you have to worry about is trying to explain this to someone else. They already have a list of professionals on there who are trained in this method and who want to use this method to help run the accounting side and finances side of your business. So if you're like me and you don't know much about finances in a business, or you feel like you want to switch up the way you're going about your finances in your business, I strongly encourage this. I know it's finances, but it's truly written in a way that isn't super boring either. So it definitely helps keep your attention and keep you captivated throughout the book so that you're not just feeling like you're reading a book about finances, which I cannot imagine. It's just not something that ever sounds like it would be entertaining. So even if you already have a business, again, I think this would be really interesting for you to read. So strongly recommend giving this a try. Like I kind of said, that book I first heard about through the next resource I'm going to talk about, which is podcasts. I am obsessed with podcasts right now. They are, I feel like, taking over my road trips. That's all I ever want to listen to. And it was actually my boyfriend who suggested that I should try and find a boutique podcast to listen to help give me a little bit more information and background info about how running and operating and starting a boutique might look like. So I heard about Profit First on a podcast called Boutique Chats. That podcast kind of stems off of a separate business called Boutique Hub. So both of those I strongly recommend checking out. Boutique Hub, you can go to their online website and they have tons and tons of resources for boutique businesses. They also have a really good Instagram that gives a lot of info out there for, getting social momentum on your pages, and super good information about all of that stuff. On their podcast, they bring in special guests sometimes, experts in the industry, people who are doing things very, very successfully, and they talk about obviously different topics just like any other podcast would, especially if you're like me and you feel like you're going into an industry maybe you love but you don't know a ton of info about. Go look up some podcasts and just kind of start seeing what they're saying. Who knows, you might get some tips and tricks of things that might be helpful as you're first starting out. Maybe you'll learn something new if you already have a business. So strongly encourage, there's tons of them out there. If you are not listening to a podcast yet that is related to the industry you're working, I strongly recommend trying to seek one out, or maybe even starting one if you can't find one. Okay, last but certainly not least, I am going to be talking about this brand called Popple. Try to think of the best way to explain this. I guess really it's an online business card, or like a digital business card company. I know that there's a couple of them out there already. These were gifted to me actually for Valentine's Day by my boyfriend, which I thought was super sweet and thoughtful of him. And I have two different versions of a Popple. So I have one that looks more like a traditional business card, and for this one he did customize it so it has my logo on it, which is super nice. And then I have a version that has a little adhesive on the back that you can put on your phone as well. So there's two, again, different versions. You don't have to get them customized, I don't believe, but you also can if you want to. I think they're really cool. I think they're going to be useful for a lot of different types of businesses and even professions. Again, my boyfriend got me one and he got one for himself, and he works in sales. So now when he's going out and meeting clients at different events, he can have them scan this on their phone and it automatically pops up all of his information for them right there digitally. So I think it's kind of cool. I think it's definitely the way business cards and business information is going to be spread very, very soon, much more commonly, just because everything is so digital now anyways. So all you do is, if you have a card, you literally just put it on top of your phone and it'll pop up with the app, and it'll pop up with all of your information. So for mine, I have like my website, my Instagram page, the email, my contact info, all there ready for it. So I can go and click Instagram and it'll take that person right to the Instagram page for my boutique. So again, super easy. The button version is used essentially in the same way. Instead of scanning the card on their phone, you'll have this on the back of your phone, and you can just touch it to the person's phone that you're trying to connect with, and it'll bring up all of the info that you want it to, which, like I said, I think is super cool, super easy. Then you don't have to carry around all of these like paper business cards that people are probably going to throw away anyways. So yeah, that's the last resource I wanted to talk about, but I feel like it's pretty cool. Again, you could literally use this for so many different kinds of businesses, so definitely super helpful. Recommend giving Popple a look at. or I know there's a couple other different brands out there who are doing similar products. So, but yeah guys, otherwise that is all I have for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you found something that interests you, that you might want to use in the future for your business, or if you're thinking about starting a business or even just a small side hustle. This by no means is an all-encompassing video. I could probably do one again down the road as I learn more and more and more about owning my own business, owning my own boutique. I'm by no means am an expert yet. This is why I'm very much in the beginning stages. So these are the things that have been most helpful for me up to this point. And yeah, I hope you like it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. Please ring the notification bell so you're notified when I do post new videos. And then if you haven't yet, go follow Simple Staples Boutique on Instagram and Facebook. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day wherever you are, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye guys.